So, hello everybody, here's Niall Sebastian Paul Sieger. Um, I started just another live stream, and I did try to put a live stream online before, but then the connection broke down. So there are gonna be a few videos uploaded later, because the people which know my live streams do know that I always start a live stream, and I do document also with other cameras. So you always have the live stream, and later in the night time here in Germany, I'm gonna upload the videos from the other camera view as well. So that's important to understand, because later you get a few camera views in case in the live stream data you cannot see everything, or in case you want to have a better view on the tree in front of that window, which can be used from ghosts or creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body, as a tool to communicate and to present themselves towards you, because they can canalize the wind specific to this tree, and they can use a higher wind level, very specific, when requested, to communicate, for example, to agree to stuff. For example, now, can you agree the creatures which are in weather, which can do the weather control, that you can use the weather to communicate towards the people which are watching the video? If you can agree, please start to shake that tree a little bit with a higher wind level, so that the people then see more movement in the tree. If you watch the tree closely, the creatures I'm in contact with gonna start to do that, and then you're gonna see more movement, because more wind is getting canalized to that tree, and that's what they are doing right now. And then you can see the wind waves coming to the tree, and in that way creatures which have lived as human beings before, see, can react and agree to certain points, very specific. So I spoke out, these are creatures which have lived as human beings before, and you could see that they then did use a higher wind level, shake that thing, that tree, to agree to that point. So these creatures which do the weather control are creatures which have lived as human beings before, and which are in the situation that their human body did die. So for you, the people, they control the weather and react specific as you can see it, to make themselves transparent to you, the people which are watching the video. I can ask specific questions, and if they want to agree very specific to a specific point, they can use much wind, a lot wind, and canalize it specific from the whole area to this tree. And then you have the case that you have action and reaction. Action could be, for example, that I ask a question, if a creature agrees, and the reaction is that the creature then triggers the wind specific to agree. Okay? And for example, if I'm using a huge tree like this with creatures which can control the weather to communicate towards you, the people watching the video, it is also possible to arrange that a specific area of that tree is used, or that a specific level of wind is used. And you could see their clear reaction. They did trigger the wind a lot, so used a higher wind level. They do it right now where my hand is up, to make that clear towards you, the people which are watching the video. So you, the humans which are watching my video and the video of these creatures, you are in the position now that you have seen a video where already now creatures which have lived as human beings before, but which do not have a human body anymore, so not me, but them, did communicate to you directly. So you have been part of universal communication with ghosts, if you want it like that. How people would often call it. I call these creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their human body, to be a little bit more specific. But of course, these creatures have also a ghost. There are ghosts in the eyes of other people. To the creature, can you trigger the wind one more time? And can you agree with that, that in the eyes of a lot of humans, you are a ghost? And you can see the creature is triggering the wind clearly to make that point clear towards the people which are watching the video. Okay. So, hello everybody, I'm Niall Sebastian Powersieger, and because it is a live stream, I'm gonna add some people in between. So do not wonder if I use my fingers to use the cell phone. This creature have not identified him or herself towards me yet. But I received the information by body sharing that this is my mom. And I just received that information at that moment in time. So she did trigger the wind also to agree to that. Can you send one wind wave in this direction? So a little specific wind wave to move it like this to agree, Mom? She gonna do that now? Then please start to do so. So now you can see she's pushing the tree into this direction like I requested. So that is my mom, Susanne Ilsesiger. I was not sure who did canalize the wind in the beginning of this video, because I'm often in contact with so many creatures which have lived as human beings before. And I'm also focused on producing the video. My mom is agreeing to that with the high wind and by triggering the wind as I requested it before for you, the people, so that you have specific communication. Specific means the wind is extra canalized from here to there, and that's why you can see that movement of the tree. Okay? As I said, another live stream stopped. I did try to produce another live stream before, but the internet is very slow. I'm filming just with cell phone cameras because I'm a poor man. I think that is very sad. Because otherwise you, the people, would see more, you would be able to hear more, and you would have a better perspective if you watch the video material. So just for your information, for me and also for a lot of creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their human body, it would be very nice to see when people would start to spend some money for these ghosts which do communicate towards the public in general, so that I then can buy better equipment and that I can present you with better video material. And that would also help a lot of creatures which have lived as human beings before, because then they could produce better documentations, and these video documentations can be live signals towards their living family members which can watch the documentations. So please, if you are rich, please send some money, because I want to buy better microphones, better PCs, better cameras to provide all of you with better data, with creatures which have lived as human beings before, which can use the natural environment like you do see it in this video. And they would need to see me in a better position with better technical equipment, because then I can film more of the area, more of the natural environment they can use to communicate. And you as the people, you could see more instead of being in relation blind, and you could learn more from the documentations. So it is very sad for me as a living human who is informing about universal communication that I do not have better equipment. But watch the tree, it's very quiet at the moment, more quiet than before. Mom, can you agree that a lot of creatures which have lived as human beings before, which also do belong to other families, would also need better equipment, which would need a situation that I, Niall, have better technical equipment, that they then can produce better documentations for the public to explain their situation and to produce video documentations for their living family members. And my mom gonna agree to that, and you can see specific again, she's triggering the wind and pushing the tree into that direction as I requested it. So please, if you are rich, please spend some money. You can contact me by Facebook Messenger, or you can send me an email to seeger@ciembassy.com. And if you spend some money, I'm gonna also publish on my Facebook account or on the website how I did spend the money you did send to me, in case you're gonna send money, which equipment I have bought from the money. So you're gonna get an overview how the money was invested for you, that you can see better documentations hopefully in the future. If you spend money, please spend money specific for ancestors communication. So please contact me, and then you can spend it specific for ancestors communication, and are gonna communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before from different families. How we then can spend the money for better equipment, and which equipment they also request and need, because in the end I'm in the situation that I'm producing data with a lot of creatures which have lived as human beings before, but here in Bonn from other living humans, I do not have a good support or the right support I would need, for example, with a financial backup, with better equipment, to make it possible for these creatures which have lived as human beings before, which do not have a human body anymore, which I need to use the natural environment to communicate in a way that you, the people, can understand and see it, because they want to reach their living family members, so that I'm in a better situation to help them better and to make it possible for them to produce better documentations, that the families of these creatures then later get better video material. And what my mom did agree to is the fact that I'm often in contact with creatures from other families which have lived as humans before, which would like to produce such documentations, and she's producing Wind now again to agree to that stuff again. And that she had to witness often the situation that because of bad equipment, video documentations had to be deleted because I had no storage on my PC, because I cannot afford an expensive PC. That's what my mom had to witness as a creator regarding other creatures which have lived as human beings before and which produced film material with me for their living family members, film material which never came online. So their families never have the chance to see that. My mom is agreeing to that by triggering the wind, and that is all equipment. That is all equipment. And Mom, can you agree specific to the point that in the past I had to delay documentations with where other creatures were filmed, which have lived as human beings before, which wanted to reach their living family members, because of a lack of storage. And my mom is pushing the wind into the tree and from this direction to that direction, like I requested it, to answer specific to that. See? So you can see that's why the tree always goes into this direction. So my mom and I, we had to witness that I had to delete a lot of documentations where creatures which have lived as human beings before did present themselves, did communicate clearly, just because the internet is too slow, I could not upload fast enough, and I had not enough storage on my PC. Just because a lack of financial possibilities to buy better equipment to afford a fast internet. How sad is that to be in my position if I try the whole time to explain to other people how they potentially could communicate with their ancestors tomorrow? Very sad. And my mom is agreeing to that, very specific by canalizing the wind. And it is very sad for the creatures which have lived as human beings before, which have lost their own human body from other families, which would like to produce documentations, better documentations for their living family members. And you can see how much wind my mom is triggering and how specific to agree to that point. Because I'm producing data with ghosts, different ghosts, many different creatures since 3 years. And the people which came in contact with my data do not understand that point. So I'm repeating myself there the whole time. And in this video, in case you already have heard that I need equipment, that I would need a sponsor to buy equipment, sadly, that's your call. I'm calling you out there, the people which are watching my video. With this video, I'm calling you now to please organize a better situation for me, that I have better equipment, because then it will be less stress for me to produce documentations with creators which have lived as human beings before and which want to reach their living family members. And why do it have to be extra stressful just because of bad equipment for people like me to try to help others? So it would be great if some people which are watching my video in the civil society out there, which do have maybe a little bit more money, would understand that point. And how sad is it that even the natural environment is used by creatures which have lived as human beings before to communicate to the public? Even that is done, and the public do not make it, even not in years, to support these creators with a little bit better equipment here in Bonn, where they do present themselves. And I do not talk only about my mom. I also talk about a lot of creators which do belong to other families, and which have been in the position that they totally have been let down by the public society out there, which do not support them. And I want to make that also clear in that live video. I do not know with which creature I potentially gonna communicate tomorrow. So I'm every day in the situation, my mom is agreeing to that I potentially maybe have contact with one of your ancestors tomorrow. Your ancestors, the people which are watching the video, I'm talking to you. And if I do not have good equipment, maybe one of your ancestors is contacting me tomorrow and saying, Niall, I would like to produce a documentation with you where I present myself, where I answer a question, where I identify myself. And Niall, if you could please send the documentation to you, because it's one of your ancestors I'm talking now about. So in such a scenario, maybe tomorrow, I'm at the moment in the situation that I have to tell this creator, sorry, but humans do not understand, they do not support me, that's why I have to send you away. You're gonna lose your voice, because I don't have an internet which is fast enough to upload all that stuff. I don't have storage on my PC, and I do not have enough good equipment to produce faster, more documentations with more individuals which requested that to reach their living family members. That's my living situation since years. And if I look at the public, where many people are unable to communicate with their ancestors by themselves. Many people are unable to communicate with ghosts by themselves. Many of these people do communicate how sad they are because they cannot have contact with their own ancestors. All of you people, you could have contact potentially with your ancestors. But therefore, maybe you should try to support these people which are able to communicate with your ancestors, that these people then can help you. I'm one of these people potentially, and I did not receive any support in the past years. Not that kind of support I would have needed, to be more specific and to be correct there. For example, I did produce video material a long time where I also made clear I have bad equipment. In 3 years I met one woman which did specific support me financially with a few euros that I can get better equipment. A few euros means less than one of these cameras do cost. And I'm pointing at this camera at the moment, and I'm pointing at that camera. So for good microphones, good cameras, for cameras where you can film weather, if weather is used by ancestors for communication. Also, for example, weather which is not so nice like today, so maybe a rainy day. Therefore, I need expensive camera equipment and waterproof cameras, not cheap cell phone cameras which will break down after a minute. So I'm in the situation that I'm trying to help all of you, the people which are watching the video, to help in case you are unable to communicate with your ancestors. Because I'm able to communicate with such creatures. I've learned that. In case they're able to communicate, I will be able to communicate with them. It's very simple. But to inform the public better, that more people learn that they have a chance to reach their ancestors, and to give more ancestors the chance, ancestors from other families, to give more of them the chance to reach their living family members, I need better equipment, and they need better equipment here in Bonn. I need better equipment because the creators gonna use it later with me to produce the documentations. If I don't have the equipment, the ancestors can present themselves on a huge scale as much as they want, but I cannot film it for you. And their living family members never will get their life signals. And you can see how specific they do agree to that, because they raised the wind level to a higher wind level, and they started to push the tree a little bit to that part over here, like I requested it, and that's exactly what you can see if you watch the videos closely. And please watch it on a huge screen. I'm gonna use the cameras now to present you a little bit the area, which means I'm gonna film the houses in the gardens and all that. I'm gonna do that with the live camera and with one of the other cameras afterwards. So just for the people, that you have a better understanding of where I am and how huge the area is they use to communicate, these creators, in that case my mom Susanne Ilse Sieger, how huge the area she's using to communicate towards you. And she's agreeing to that, that she's using a huge area to bring the wind to this area, for example, to communicate towards you by triggering the wind. So I'm gonna open the window. And that's my mom Susanne Ilse Sieger, which is triggering the wind there. You could see the wave, you can hear it. So if creators like my mom, which have lived as humans before, use the natural environment to communicate with me, for example wind, what you have seen in the video before I opened the window is just a percentage of that what's happening, because you could not hear the sound of the wind. With better microphones you could hear the sound even better. Okay, I'm gonna use now that camera, which is also filming, and that's the video material which is gonna be uploaded in the night time on my Facebook account, Niall Power Sieger, Niall, power like the power, Sieger is Sieger. And you'll find a lot of live stream videos there, a lot of documentations where creators which have lived as human beings before did present themselves and did communicate. A lot, not one. And my mom is agreeing to that. And she's sending another wind wave very specific to that tree where my hand is. See that? And please watch always closely. That's why I'm also filming the plant with this camera. So later you find on my Facebook account also split screen documentations, where you always have the live stream video, and later, a day later or in the night uploaded, you also have a split screen documentation of the same moment, where you can watch the tree more closely. Because when creators which have lived as human beings before, which do not have their human body anymore, to make themselves visible to you, the people which are watching the video, they're gonna use the tree. Right now the internet is very slow. I explained that already. See, my mom wants to communicate to the public now in a live stream, but she's losing her voice because I cannot afford a faster internet. The internet live stream broke now down again. For example, if I would not communicate with my mom now, but with the other creator which want to communicate with his family or her family, which want to reach their living family members and explain their situation, it is not possible with such bad equipment, no financial resources, and the internet which is too slow to upload documentations fast, and the internet which is too slow to do a live stream over a longer period. It is Just not possible because people do not understand that point and do not support me. How sad is that? That creatures which have lived as human beings before lose their possibility to reach their living family members just because those people are not supported which could help them. How sad is that, what I have to witness the whole time where I try to inform about universal communication. And you can hear that my mom is producing a lot of wind. You can hear the sound. Listen to the sound now. She's agreeing with that. The live stream video is now on again. So I'm going to turn to the live stream camera and I'm going to explain. The internet is slow where I am. I'm at the wrong place. I have no good equipment and no financial support from other people. With a faster internet line, you would have one video even in the live stream data potentially. Now I turn to this camera again. Guess why? The live stream broke down again. And it's not only that I'm in that situation. That's what I want people to understand. As long as I do not find other people which do support me for better equipment, for a fast internet and all that was needed. As long as that is the situation, that the public out there is so ignorant not to understand that point. As long as that is the case, other creatures which have lived as human beings before lose their possibility to produce such data like you have seen here for the public. They lose their possibility to produce data which could be proof for their own family members that they're even existing today, that they're intelligent, that they can communicate. So it even leads to a situation that creatures which have lived as human beings before not even can send a live signal to their own family members. How sad is that? And you could see, if you watch later the video which is going to be uploaded later, you can see the clear reaction of my mom when I speak something like that out. You could hear it also in the wind. The live stream video is down again. That is every day my situation. It's so sad. Since years. I ask myself, when do I find the first intelligent human who is taking by himself towards me the first intelligent action? By supporting better equipment, an area where people like me could live maybe with a fast internet, a little backup, also financially. It's so sad what I'm witnessing, and I'm gonna do that live now. If people say they are sad because they cannot communicate with their ancestors, I'm gonna do now a few days maybe a live stream to make clear, no, maybe you cannot communicate with your ancestors because you let them down. You let those people down which can communicate with your ancestors. And if your own ancestors would request from me to produce a documentation for you to reach you, to be able to communicate with you, I would have maybe sent them, I would maybe be in the position that I have to send them away because of the lack of equipment. Think about that. Think about that point, how stupid that is. How sad for all humans. That should be sad what I had to witness. For all humans which are unable to communicate with your own ancestors. Why do you not support people like me, that we can help you? Why do you not support people like me which are trying to help your ancestors, that they then maybe can produce data towards you to communicate with you? Why you are not helping yourself a little bit by supporting others? That's a question I'm asking myself a few years now, where I'm trying to inform about universal communication, being myself in a situation that I do not have any financial possibilities. With the financial possibilities I had, which were only social benefits, which is not much money, I bought the equipment you see here instead of going out and having food to help others. How sad is that to be in that position? Listen to the wind. That's my mom. She's making that point also very clear to you, the people which are watching the video. And again, as long as I don't find support, the people which decide not to support me, you potentially decide to let your own ancestors down, because I'm willing to help all creatures which have lived as human beings before to try to reach their living family members, all of them which do not attack me. These are a lot. But if I don't get support, they lose their voice because they cannot produce such data. I'm gonna start the live stream again. We're gonna do it live. I just gonna stream live and docu how all the people which see these live streams and these videos later, how you gonna decide. Because it's about you, this video. It's about you and your own family members potentially. Your own ancestors. That's how you should look at this video. Remember, I potentially can meet one of your ancestors tomorrow. If I do not have the right equipment, I have to send them away, even if they want to produce video documentations for you to send you a live signal. So I'm starting now another live stream. It's the third try to do a live stream. And I'm in the same situation every day if I want to try to do live streams. I have no fast internet to upload videos. As somebody who's constantly uploading videos for others, that others have the chance to reach their living family members. I am daily in the situation because of bad equipment that I have to invest, for example, 6 hours work instead of 3 or 2 because of a slow internet, because of a bad PC, because of no storage and bad cameras. The internet is so slow that even this live stream is just getting started. The whole time it's not even running. You can hear the wind. You know that my mom is saying yes with that. Because I explained it to you. This video is about you, all of you. Here? So the question is, when will you start, if you are able to do so? When will you start to support me that I can help you maybe and your ancestors? If you are unable to communicate with your own ancestors. That's the question here. When will you start? And I repeat again what I would need. Better cameras. Maybe people which are willing to build up a team with me here in Bonn, nowhere else. Always there where I am, always there where the communication is taking place, nowhere else. Because everything else do not make sense. I need team members, I need a financial backup, so I need sponsors to buy better equipment. To have better microphones that you can hear the wind better. Watch this. Mom, can you agree by triggering the wind into that direction that you even can use the wind so specific that you could communicate words by triggering the wind if you would focus yourself a little while to learn that to communicate so specific with the wind noise? Can you agree that you think that would be possible? Yes or no? Yes gonna be the answer, so my mom will start them to trigger the wind to say yes, and that's what she's doing now, and that's why she's pushing that tree now over that area like it was requested for specific answers. And that's what you see now. Okay? I'm gonna present with my finger in this camera the area we mostly use. My mom is always pushing the tree in that direction, okay? If she agrees specific to a point. Live video could not even get started. That's about the internet. Any documentation I have to upload to the internet, I have to use the same slow internet. So, for example, if this internet stuff is telling me to upload a 60-minute documentation where creators presenting himself to reach their own living family members, and the internet is telling me, my PC is them telling me the upload will cost you 3-4 hours. If I have another 5 documentations with other individuals, I have to delete them then, because I need my storage as well. And that's all a lack of equipment, a lack of a couple of €1,000 regarding a few cameras. Since years. Again, to all the people which are watching the video, how sad is that? How sad? If you have money, if you want to support your own ancestors potentially, or at least creatures which have lived as human beings before, that they have a voice, you can start to support me, because that's what I'm fighting for. That's why I'm producing all these documentations. But if I do not have a good internet, if I do not have the right equipment, if I have to work with €12 microphones, of course the sound is quite bad compared to what would be possible. And who would benefit from that? All the people which could learn from better documentations. All the people which are unable to communicate with ancestors on a good level. So potentially you. It's so sad. I'm gonna end this video now because I'm getting pissed, because I remember a bit of the past years. And I made that point clear so often. And it's so sad that I had to meet one creature which have lived as a human before but which do not have a human body anymore. That I had to meet one creature after the other requesting from me that I should help them by producing documentations where they can present themselves, where they can communicate, where they can try to reach their living family member. And it's so sad, my life, that I have to send so many away just because I have no support from other humans, no team here in Bonn, no equipment and no financial backup, so I cannot afford that stuff by myself. But all that is needed since years here. And you, again, that's not only how I see it, that's how many creators sees that. I was in contact with in the past, and my mom is agreeing to that fact. So all the creatures I had to send away, my mom had to witness all that as well, because she was staying here with me the whole time. And that's just sad, Mom. Is that not the truth? That the people, the living people, do let their own ancestors down by that behavior. She's agreeing to that clearly now. It's so clear. It's totally sad what I had to witness the last years, also where I did try to inform the public. The behavior of all of the public is sad. That they do not understand the few points. How can you be sad that you are unable to communicate with your ancestors? How can you then hear that some people are able to communicate with ancestors? And how can you then decide not to support that ancestors can speak out? How stupid is that? What I had to witness. That people do not support people like me, stupid behavior. Because in the end, people like me just help ancestors of other families. And but if living people do not support that, People like me cannot help the ancestors as good as we could. And that's what all that wind is before. That's what all the wind is for. That's what my mom is agreeing to. That's what she did agree to earlier in the video as well. How clear do you people want that? Here again, I'm going to present it to you with this camera. Here the whole natural environment is used for communication. Okay, the whole area you see can get used. What you have seen here is weather control, okay? My mom canalized wind specific. And I don't even get the money to afford better equipment to make that transparent to you, the people, the public. I have one question. Have you ever heard of green energy? Have you ever heard of wind energy? How huge is your electricity bill? If you are one of the humans who's paying 200 euro electricity bill a month, and if in your mind is you don't have the money to afford informations from ancestors, you are totally stupid, because the same system could get used for free energy, and you are wasting 200 euro a month instead of communicating with people like me, and instead of communicating with creatures like the ancestors. Mom, is that not the truth, that the system could get used for free energy for humans? You see the reaction. She did react specific, she did canalize the wind. The rest would be that the people out there start to understand and would start to do what would be intelligent. But that's nothing I can see so far. So I'm gonna end this video now. The live stream is a fail. I cannot start a live stream at that moment. So again, I will try to do a live stream later. And as long as I'm gonna be in the situation, my Facebook account gonna be a documentation of your fail if you are unable to communicate with your ancestors and if you have not tried. Because in that way, maybe to make that point clear, I can help the ancestors the best way. Because I did try to help so many creatures which have lived as human beings before to reach their living family members, but often the fail is there, the living humans, because they do not react. If they get invited, they do not react. If you try if they get invited by their own ancestors, they don't even react. That's my lifetime experience. How sad is that? My mom is making it clear with a lot of wind. And again, you can watch the Facebook timeline Niall Sieger. You'll find many live streams. So that is not ordinary weather. That is weather control. That is ruling over the natural environment, what my mama is presenting here to you. In symbiose with support from other creatures as well is what I can add, because that's the standard of knowledge. So my mom is agreeing to that. See, she's triggering more wind in this area where I put my hand again. And that's in this camera view, it's that part of the film. Okay, here where I'm pointing my finger at. That's where she mostly, and then she's canalizing the wind from here to there. That's why the tree is moving like this now. Okay, that's what was agreed on very specific in the beginning of the video. So please, I'm willing to help humans which are unable to communicate with their own ancestors. I'm willing to help ancestors, but I need your support. It's not a lack of contacts regarding of ancestors from other families. What I had to witness here is that living humans do not understand what would be necessary for me to get from other living humans to be able to help better. And also to be able to help your own ancestors potentially better in case they're gonna contact me tomorrow. And in case they want to produce a video documentation for you. The people which came in contact with my daughter, all of you, you should decide, do you want to stay blind or do you want to see more? Do you want to be unable to communicate with your ancestors, or do you gonna try? There where it is possible, there where it is communicated that it is possible. Do you want to wait for anybody else, or are you able to decide something by yourself? If you are able to do so, please do it now. I would need much more support from living humans. If people are interested in universal communication, ancestors communication, and if you are unable to communicate by yourself, why not supporting me with better equipment and a financial backup that I inform better? That would make them also sense for you. Think about that. Thank you very much for watching. United Sebastian Paul Sieger, and the wind is canalized and was canalized from Susanne Ilse Sieger, my mom, and she's gonna trigger the wind again to say goodbye to the people. But you should take that video very serious, is what she also saying with the wind wave. So now she's triggering the wind again, where I did point my finger at. Mom, see how specific? And again with the camera I'm going to present the environment as well. By the way, that's what I'm going to add, and then I'm going to finish the video. My mom can do the same on a 10-kilometer scale. So a natural environment, 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers. Can you film that with a cell phone camera, or 2 or 3? Or would you need maybe better equipment like I do? Think about that. And will you ever see such video material? If those people which are able to communicate with ancestors like that, and where ancestors are able to communicate with them like that, that it's possible to docu it. If those people like me never get the support they need, will you ever see such stuff? It's your decision. Also, think about that. Thank you very much for watching. United Sebastian Paul Sieger, and please, I do not mean it bad. I want to see that people start to realize simple things, and I want to try to get the right support from you. The problem is I'm a little bit sad because I could not see that, and that makes me angry, and that's what you can see in this video a little bit as well. Because I requested support since years, being in the situation that I'm uploading documentations with ancestors the whole time, also ancestors of other living families. But I did not receive the specific support I specifically need and I specifically requested in the internet. I need money. If you have money, please spend some money to me so that I can afford better equipment, can inform you better, and that ancestors have the possibility to communicate towards you better. Ancestors like my mom from my family, but also creatures which do belong potentially to your family. Thank you very much for watching. Your Niall Sebastian Paul Sieger.